Thank you. I want to thank everyone for being here. My name is Dan Filio. I'm the chairman of the Prudential Commission for the Dalton Water District. I called this meeting after discussions with Jim Driscoll about just to go over what the duties are of both boards within the I will have a couple of statements I'd like to make. Number one, if anybody has a question, speak up a little bit. I'm sorry. Usually I don't have people saying that they can't hear me. If anyone has a question or a statement to make to the commission, that they will direct it to me. They cannot ask anyone else a question directly. Direct it to me, and they will be recognized before they speak. If somebody speaks out, I may not answer your question, okay? Just so that's clear. The other thing is, any question, if you do have a question for, let's say, a member of the water commissioners, Melanie, direct it to me, and I will decide whether or not it follows the guidelines of what we're working with here. This meeting is solely for the purpose of discussing the duties of the Water Commission and the Prudential Commission and how we interact. Yesterday there was an email sent out that was full of inaccuracies, one of which was that this meeting was to discuss I forgot what the forensic audit. The forensic audit. That is not a subject that is being discussed today. It was not on the agenda. It will not be discussed. Are there any questions on that? Yes.
Will there be an opportunity for the public to hear the decision-making on that?
That would be up to the water commissioners. That is a duty of the water commissioners for them to go forward. It is not a part of what the Prudential Commission does. So, are there any other questions pertaining to that before we start having our discussion? Thank you very much. And I apologize, I have a bit of a throat issue right now. As I said, people can usually hear me. Bob can attest to that. This meeting was called through discussions with Jim Driscoll and myself. Jim, do you have anything that you want to start off with?
I talked to Dan about having this meeting when he came on board to make sure that the interaction between the water commissioners and the Prudential Commission is a workable body of work that we'll be able to get things done. And we just wanted to have this meeting to determine what parts of this that the Prudential Committee would like to do or would like to leave as it has been. Prudential Committee historically has passed the budgets that the water commissioners have set up through the department heads, and they are briefed on the budget, and then they okay the budget, and that is the budget that goes to the voters. And they have been instrumental in looking at any of the financial situations with the district as far as loans, things like that is part of what we have our meetings with the Prudential Committee for. So that being said, all we wanted to do was get together and make sure that we're both on the same playing field.
I will note that this is a similar meeting has been held in the past with other Prudential Commission meetings, so this is not an unusual act by the commissions. That being said, thank you, Jim. Is anybody on the Prudential Commission? I'm very fortunate. I have two members who've been on the Prudential Commission for a long time, and they can attest to how things have been run. Is there anything that either one of you?
Well, I would reiterate what Jim said, that
under Article 9 of the Charter and under Article 4 of the bylaws, gives the water commissioners the right to run the show, day-to-day operations of the
Could you speak
water
louder, please?
department.
Could you speak louder? We can't hear you, Beth.
About as loud as I can be at my age. I just reiterated what Jim said, that we oversee the budget. And in my opinion, like everybody, Article 9 of the Charter, Article 4 of the bylaws determine that the commissioners are in charge of the day-to-day operation. They come to us with a budget, we approve or disapprove the budget, and deal with finances. I always equated us to like the finance committee, but I guess there's other opinions, so, but that's mine.
That is my understanding too, and I will tell you that prior to running for the Prudential Commission, I spoke to both these gentlemen. That is what the information I got. I also spoke with a friend, Al Nadeau, who had been in my position prior to me, and that's what's been reiterated. I will say that over the years, the original Prudential Committee, the original water commissioners were formed by people who were related to or involved with Crane & Company. They were the ones who started the whole charter business. A number of years ago, I don't know whether it was in the 40s or 50s or early 60s, they started to ease out and get other people to come in and to work at the commission. My understanding is that it has always been very clear, except for financial questions, the Prudential Commission does not get involved in the day-to-day operations of the fire district. I will say that with a little aside. This past year, I stepped up after being asked to help with a couple of issues. I did so as an individual, not as the Prudential Commission. It came from my 40 years of knowledge of how things were operated and how things were done. And I appreciate the opportunity to help with that, but in no way was I acting as a member of the Prudential Commission when I did that. That is what we wanted to come here and meet to determine. What are the exact duties? Do you see anything different than what Tom said or I said?
No, I don't see anything different. From my,
You'll need to speak up a little bit.
from my, time in the fire department and stuff, it's always run pretty good with the, water commissioners running this thing and, the Prudential Committee doing what they said is okay in the budget. Seems to have worked for a lot of years. Crane & Company was involved in the water commissioners because of their mills. They wanted to protect their water rights. And that's about it.
As long as we're both in agreement that we're going to operate as it has been under Section 9 of the Charter and Section 4 of the bylaws, I'm quite happy and looking forward to working with the Prudential Committee from here on out.
Yeah, I agree. I agree that we're looking forward to working with you. In the past, it's always been a good relationship. That my understanding when I were elected to this position was that the water commissioners ran the day-to-day, developed the budget, discussed the budget with the Prudential Committee, and the Prudential Committee had their input and questions if they had anything that was of concern to them. And we operated under those guidelines. I have approached in the past individuals on the Prudential Committee and asked for advice in helping me develop a thought or an idea, they've been very helpful in helping me develop those ideas and to get an oversight perspective on what my thoughts were.
Very good. We have a couple questions. Tom, Logan?
Todd Logan, Curtis Ave, just real quickly, if it is parallel to the finance committee, wouldn't, like $183,000 that we need to account for be something that the Prudential would want to oversee or encourage to be audited, or since it's a financial concern?
You're talking about the audit, and we already said we're not going to discuss the
No, just
audit.
something like that.
The Prudential Committee has been made aware of everything that's involved with that. It is, we haven't discussed it amongst ourselves, but no action has been needed that we have felt that we called the meeting to discuss that.
But I guess my question is, would it fall under your purview to give some direction or feedback on that to the commission?
If asked to do so, we would probably review it as it is. As I said, it has been provided to us for us to review. If there is an issue, then I'm sure that we will go forward.
Okay, thank you.
Tony?
Yes, Tony Pagliarulo, President Dalton. Thank you for clarifying the day-to-day duties under the auspices of the Water Commission. I'd like to follow up with a question related to the meeting that was held several weeks ago across the street. And that is the note.
Is it a meeting, is it concerning a meeting for a meeting that was held by the,
Yes.
okay. If it doesn't have anything to do with what our direct duties are here today, then it may not be allowed. I'll let you go ask the question and we'll go from there.
I understand that. I don't want to be out of line, but I just want to ask the question. I didn't have the chance at the last meeting. The notion of progressive discipline. Is there a policy that the water commissioners have? Have they implemented progressive discipline?
I would refer that to, there's a meeting in the next week.
Yep, it's Tuesday of the month.
Last Tuesday of the month of the water commissioners, and I would refer to that meeting for that answer for that question. Okay? I don't want to shut you off, it's just not within the purview of this meeting.
Understood.
Thank you, though. Are there any other questions? Don?
I'm just very confused about a lot of things. On the fire district website, it states the bylaws. Under one, it says the corporation shall be known by the name of the Dalton Fire District. The officers of this corporation shall be the Prudential Committee, consisting of blah, 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 the members. And furthermore, it says that the Prudential Committee is in charge of collecting all funds, all monies, and it says that you guys pretty much seem to be the one in charge. If the selectmen of our town hire our town manager, and our town manager manages all the other departments. So I appreciate what everybody's done over all the years and everything, but it seems like over the last few years, there's definitely some sort of a problem within the district, and I think that we, as citizens, really need to understand there's a lot of very alarming issues that the citizens really should know about and understand. It's kind of status quo, time and place of the meetings, 10 o'clock here. The front door was locked, they're just, I just think that it really needs looking into, and I've got the, from the town hall, and I don't know if people have seen this and read this, but,
What for the town hall?
we're going back to you were talking about the date of it, I think it was 1938, was when articles started changing. Looks like April 29th, 1935, excuse me, and May 13th, 1935. And it's changed in the 60s, and then there's been quite a few changes, but the head titles of both of these documents are all pertaining to that, you guys are the corporation, you guys are in charge of the corporation, and that the officers of this corporation shall be the Prudential Committee consisting of 3 members, a board of water commissioners consisting of 3 members and a treasurer, and an audit and a clerk. And you guys, from everything that we seem to be in charge of it, and I understand that, like I said, I appreciate everything that's been done in the past, but obviously, I believe we have a serious problem, and we should be looking into things a little bit more. I'm gonna send out an email, I'm gonna ask for the last 3 years' financials, the last 3 years' budgets. And, hopefully, we can move forward on this. I mean, it just seems like nobody understands.
Understood. Thank you for the comments. First off, I'd like to address the 10 o'clock meeting today. I will take the blame for that. We've been talking about having this meeting for a while, but life got in the way. Through illnesses, through other reasons, we actually grabbed the time anticipating that this is just a simple enough meeting, we're going to be able to sit down and discuss what we just discussed, come to an understanding the meeting's done. I wanted to do it now because I'm going to be gone for 3 weeks. My daughter's going to have a baby. I'm going down to Maryland. I will be down there doing poppy duties. And the time frame worked into people work. As we've heard complaints about, having a meeting 10 o'clock in the morning. People here work also. And they can't usually make all the meetings that we want in the afternoons. It was a simple enough process, simple enough thing that we felt 10 o'clock in the morning to come in, we would be able to do it. Quite frankly, we're pretty much done. As for the district bylaws and the charter and everything, I think it would help if you look at the fact that technically we are the CEOs. Okay, and just like a CEO of a business would be, though we're not getting paid $24 million a year to do so. And the CEOs of companies, they develop a group beneath them per se, whose duties is to run the corporation. That's what we have. Okay, so, whether it works, whether it doesn't work, whether it needs to be adopted, that will be addressed when it needs to be addressed. We have already set up a agreement that we're going to sit down and go through the bylaws and to check them to make sure that they're not antiquated, that there's not things that we need to do to fix it, if it needs to be fixed.
Would that be an open meeting?
It was actually going to be like a committee meeting. It wasn't going to be all 6 of us together. It was going to be Jim, myself, and one other person to sit down and to look at the bylaws and then to determine if there is a need for change and to go forward. I don't see why it wouldn't be something that we would allow people to come to. I do know that we talked about getting input from the public on it, but with anything, there's no guarantee that any changes are going to be made. So, and that would be something for the fall that we talked about, correct?
Yes.
So, would there be counsel at that meeting, just to try to help understand the language?
I don't think we anticipated council being at our meetings when we were discussing it. Any changes that would be made would go through the council, correct? Correct.
One thing I would ask for, if at all it could be done, before any changes are made or any warrants are put out or any votes are put out, that we give ample enough time for our community to really understand what's going on here and have a say and be a part of it. Because that, to me, that's a pretty big deal. I have 3 employees that live in the town of Dalton, okay? And I can't have my 3 employees here plus myself,
Yeah.
okay? Because we're gonna hinder a lot of people. And as a corporation, I have managers in different states that run corporations for me down there. I understand the process and I understand the way it works, but somewhere there's the head of the snake, or the steering wheels of the truck. Somebody's got to drive this bus, and figure out what's going on. Because there's as far as just a bunch of allegations, there's no factuals or anything about anything yet, no decisions, but just too many allegations are a difficult thing to swallow versus what we need, because over the last, probably since 2000, late 2021, early 2022, we talked about we needed a new fire department, and then it got squashed, then it got brought back in, then it got squashed.
I think we're getting into an area that goes beyond what the meeting's
I
supposed to
just
be.
believe if it's gonna be brought up, and the Prudential Committee is aware of it, either back then or now, and I understand, I'm in complete agreement with the commissioners. At one time, I do believe that we need to move into the, new century. Thank you.
Anybody have comments about?
I just have one clarification. When he read the Prudential Committee's job description under part 3, it does say, and it was left out, that the Prudential Committee shall collect through the treasurer's office the monies. Just so there's clarification of where that money's collected through.
Okay, thank you. You had a question?
I did. Jim Pelt here, Flansburgh Ave. So, as I understand it, the Prudential Committee is basically financial oversight.
I think that'd be fair to say.
So, do they have any influence or direction in discipline within the organization of the
No,
No.
discipline is handled through the district.
It's interesting.
Why would it be interesting? The discipline has nothing to do with the financial
Well, then
activities.
why is it then that they were represented at my discipline?
The Prudential Committee,
Yes.
we can go to any meeting we want to go to.
They were called. So that's.
Well, I think that's an issue that,
It was a statement and a question, Dan, that's all.
very good.
Secretary, who has oversight of the water commissioners? Who is their boss, as in, if there's an issue, where does somebody go to, as you're just in charge of financial understanding?
I would imagine there'd be, if there's a question, I guess it could be aimed towards the water commissioner, as per what the way the charter is.
If it's regarding the water commissioners, where does it go?
I really don't know.
Because you're only in charge of financial, as you stated, so we, the taxpayers, need to know if there's an issue, where do we go? If there's an issue with the secretary, we go to the commissioners, right? But if there's a problem with commissioners, where do we end up?
They're an elected official. I would say you go
State.
to the state.
So to the state,
I mean, we're not gonna discipline them. That's not our role.
we don't know.
Official.
That's why we're asking.
You have a quick question?
Well, just a comment, goes back to the initial documents. If you want, we can have the secretary read it off of their website. You guys are in charge of the corporation. You guys are in charge.
That's not how I see it.
I understand that, but it's just the way it's worded, and I'm not arguing the point. I'm just stating as a layman person that gets this information from the district and the town, what's on record, both of them.
I think what I do to possibly answer that question is I'd ask the chairman to, let's ask for a clarification from the attorney. See if they have a different opinion about what that is, and we can go forward from there.
That would be very acceptable.
Jim Peltier, Flansburgh Ave. I guess I'm speaking for several people that I know that couldn't make this meeting because it was inconvenient during the day. What they're looking for is transparency and not cover of darkness like a lot of things. So if you could work with us, that would be great.
I will say something from my past career. Okay, if there's allegations of misconduct by somebody, until the allegations are complete, investigated, they do not make a public statement for it. Because if, let's say, somebody made an accusation against Cam Pichet doing something, if people started talking who are involved in the active investigation, let's say, I'm not done.
That has nothing to do with my statement.
Okay.
My statement is,
Yeah,
oh, I'm sorry.
We're done.
What, Jim? Is there a problem?
no, no problem.
Seemed like there was.
No.
So I'm done?
Do you have anything
My
more that has
statement
to do with
was,
this?
my statement was transparency.
Yes.
Meaning, not about discipline, that didn't come out of my mouth on that statement, was transparency from everybody. So during meetings that aren't held as open meetings, in the secretary.
You've gone beyond the scope of the...
Transparency went beyond that?
No, your statement went beyond that, Jim.
Which one? The
The
fact.
one where you started talking about things that happened at other meetings.
It was
That's-
yesterday, Dan.
I don't care when it was, it just has nothing to do with this meeting. You're done.
I'm all done?
You are. Thank
Why?
you very much, because I've determined you're here to make statements about a meeting that happened
So my
prior.
First
It has
Amendment
nothing to
right
do with this
being
meeting.
able to talk as a taxpayer in this community is being.
You may talk about anything that has to do with the duties, direct duties of the water commissioners and the Prudential Committee. But I will not, do not want any more discussions about previous meetings or actions by the board in the past.
Okay.
Because it has nothing to do with today's agenda.
Jim Peltier, Flansburgh Ave. Are all meetings of the Board of Fire Commissioners and the Prudential Commission open to the public unless they're executive sessions? As stated in a article that is put on the front door of Vice.
Yes.
Thank you.
Is there anything else?
Will Mr. Peltier's questions be able to be answered at the last Tuesday of the month's meeting?
I can't determine that. That is a question that would have to be posed.
Transparency.
I would like to hear that he has.
He has the right to raise the
on that
questions. He
last-
has the right to
on
raise
that
the
last
questions.
Tuesday meeting.
Whether or not the questions are going to be answered is up to the water commissioners.
Okay.
And whether or not they'll be answered to his saturfaction is up to him.
I would like to say I want
Tom.
questions to be answered on Tuesday.
Thank you.
Thank you, Todd Logan, Curtis F. Just looking over, Don just gave me what we downloaded from the website. It looks like there are some other responsibilities in there, so they might like decisions about real estate. That's
Okay.
your,
That actually been posed to me in the past.
yeah,
If you read what's being said, is that the water commissioners, excuse me, the Prudential Committee has the right to, I don't want to misquote it here,
it's kind of like a veto.
to order and approval the purchase and sale of real estate upon approval or disapproval of the district. So if you have a district meeting, then at that district meeting, they vote to buy some property or sell some property, then the Prudential Committee has something to say for that. I will note that when you have an article on a district meeting, that article will come from the water commissioners. So it will already have been gone through them. They would have either approved or disapproved, it would be put on the agenda, and then the agenda would be voted on.
So it kind of follows what you were saying before about if we're asked. It's that same pattern of when we
Basically,
present
yes.
the information, we give feedback, and so that's the role. It would be awesome to have that dynamic, codified somewhere where we, in understandable language, where we can, as the public can understand.
Unfortunately, bylaws, everything else are written by lawyers. I cannot promise that they're written in a way that people can understand.
Okay.
Anything further? I'm sorry, Don?
Just in the past, the Prudential Committee was aware of last couple of years about possibly purchasing or looking into purchasing property and gave a blessing to move forward into the discussion, or
I don't understand the question.
I guess maybe back in 2022, were you guys aware of proceeding to maybe look into a new fire department?
I cannot address anything from 2022 because I was not on the commission at that
Through the
time.
chair to the rest of the commissioners? former
Tom or
chief.
Dick? Do you understand what he's asking? Dick is,
No, that's
you
okay.
understand what you're saying?
I was just wondering if the commission had ever gone to the Prudential Committee back in 2000, late 21, 22, about purchasing or feasibility of purchasing a new fire station. And back in 2024, early 2024, maybe July of 2024.
The only time I heard about it was when it got discussed with Tom.
But
But as far as whether we approve it or not.
Thank you very
I
much.
will say that I wasn't on the Prudential Commission at the time. However, Tom had approached me about the idea of the fire department buying it. He knew I was running for Prudential Commission. I referred him to discuss it with the water commissioners, as I have every time we've talked about it since then. I made sure that it's their decision to go forward, so.
I appreciate that. So you could probably understand where my confusion is.
Yes.
I was kind of right there with you. I just didn't know if I was the dog wagging or the tail wagging.
Okay. Any other questions?
Jim Peltier, Flansburgh Ave. Is Cam Cachet going to be able to speak? You asked the other two.
If he chooses
Well,
to,
you stopped just before him when you asked them to give an update of what they think they do, and then you started doing
well,
questions.
first off, I opened it to the entire committee.
And
I
then
may
you
have
went-
looked at Jim and looked at Mike because they would have an answer that they were going to talk about. Cam chooses to speak. He can choose, if he wants to speak, he may. Any other questions? Anything from the Prudential Committee? Okay,
I've been on the board for 9 years, I guess, somewhere in there. And I think the way it's been operating is good. Everything that the board's done has been open to the public. It's up to the public to come to the meetings. There's several times in the past that when we've had our annual meeting, we had to hit a tone to get people in to vote on it. It's not up to us to get the public to get involved, it's up to the public to get involved.
anything more? Hearing none, I will call the meeting to a close. I want to thank everyone for coming.